Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here, once again to do another Star Wars review, Star Wars Maul, Shadow Lord, Episode 1 and Episode 2 review. Let's see, the long-awaited, well, I'm not sure if long-awaited, but finally the first new Star Wars content in a while, Star Wars Shadow Lord, if you will, which is the second spin-off to the Clone Wars series, which of course stars Darth Maul as he attempts to take revenge on those who wronged him. Let's see, in the aftermath of the Clone Wars, at the moment going after the crime syndicates that betrayed him, if you will, and also eventually trying to aim for revenge against the Empire, particularly Sidious. But along the way, he appears to try and recruit a new apprentice, a Jedi character by the name of, I believe, Devon Izra, if you will, as to become his new apprentice, which many suspect that she is going to eventually become Darth Talon, if you will. Now, apparently, this cartoon series is a 10-episode having a 10-episode season. Granted, it's going to apparently have 3 or 4 seasons, and at least a second one has been renewed so far. But apparently, this show is based off loosely on the ideas that George Lucas had planned with his sequel trilogy of having Darth Maul as the villain, with Darth Talon as a Jedi hunter who apparently seduced the character that would later go on to be known as Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren, if you will. So but yeah, so it seems Filoni is doing his ideas. Now I will admit, for many people, they're wondering what is left to tell with Maul. You've seen how he was brought back in the Clone Wars, and you saw how his end in Rebel is, what his end was in Rebels against Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, granted, Star Wars Solo, while arguably the first Star Wars movie to bomb, did feature a surprise cameo of Darth Maul being the secret mastermind behind Star Wars of the Crimson Dawn, if you will, which of Han Solo's former love interest, Kira, if you will, played by Emily Clark, as was starring in it, and if you will. And so granted, we're going to see this show is likely to lead up to the events of that. I'm not sure if it's going to also show the downfall of Maul, given the fact that we know in Rebels he's basically exiled by himself and doesn't seem to have any of his allies at all. It's the only thing. So this show is likely to cover the events of that, but also perhaps show the story of this new character who Darth Maul tries to recruit as an apprentice. Will she become Darth Talon? And will Dave Filoni, now in charge of Star Wars, use her to start a new story or a new era of Star Wars and make her a future antagonist for future generations of characters to do? We'll have to wait and see, because technically Darth Talon shouldn't really be around in this era of Star Wars, given the fact that she is a Sith assassin, if you will, in the EU's legacy era, which was set over 140 or 30 years after the events of the original trilogy. So where Luke's descendant Cade Skywalker dealt with her, where she was both temporary his Sith master and I think one night stand, for my basic understanding. So yeah. So anyway, I suppose I've gone long enough. I suppose it's time to get into the actual episode. Let's see. The episode basically begins with this. Let's see. We see a bunch of cargo. Let's see. Cargo of a crime syndicate being stored and that stuff. Where Darth Maul's Mandalorian right-hand woman, if you will, the character called Root Cast, if you will, who was seen in the Son of Dathomir comic, and of course the final storyline, the Sage of Mandalore storyline, if you will, who seems to be still following Maul even after Maul was captured and defeated and essentially abandoned the Mandalorians. Attempting to do a gold heist with this droid character hold on, let me just let's see. Oops, this this droid character here, Spybot, which you can only really see. You can only really see this character. Let's see. We can hear this character. Let's see. Only really properly understand this character if you put on the subtitles. I will say. Though granted, you could probably understand them if you listen clearly. They perform a heist. Let's see. The police get involved, if you will, or at least the Star Wars. Let's see. The Star Wars police with their droids and the crewmen get involved, and this leads them to encountering, of course. Let's see. Darth Maul, who makes basically quick work of them, if you will. And yeah, so that has happened while Darth Maul basically makes quick work of them, and then the let's see character Brenda Lawson with his partner here, two bots, are trying to investigate, and let's see. Eventually, they discover that it is Darth Maul via hologram footage, where two bots says that let's see, this is a let's see, data. Let's see, any identified sightings of this character must go to the Empire, but Brandon Lawson sort of rejects this, saying that they don't want to get the Empire too involved, and but before that, they know that the character who has been robbed is this character Nico Demis, who they expect this character here, Luto Vario, to be behind it. But when they realize that it's Maul, they realize that this is a bit of more of a setup, if you will. Meanwhile, you've also introduced these new two characters, Devon Issa, this red-skinned Twi'lek Jedi, a young apprentice, if you will, given the fact that she is regarded as like a kid or something, so arguably a young teenager. And this Jedi called Iko Daki, who is her master, who is more of like the standard old wisdom Jedi, where he's still trying to play to the principles of the Jedi, but Devon here is trying to be a bit more survivalist and like stealing supplies and food, if you will, that they need to do. Unfortunately, gets caught, and rather than help her escape, her master just tells her to just stay low, and the things will work out. She ends up encountering, of course, Randall Lawson for like for the asking where he tries to ask her questions, but she refuses to answer. As a result, locked into a cell. Let's see, this guy, of course, whoops, wrong one. Root Vast, meanwhile, is, hold on, let me just remove this image. Root Vast is asking Darth Maul why they're trying to do with these syndicates, but he's saying that they're going to be taking revenge on those who wronged him. And of course, they're starting a war between Nico Demis and Luto Vario, which Demis does suspect it is Luto Vario, though the men was like, let's see, feeling doubt. So, or at least some are and some aren't. So he calls a meeting in neutral territory. And the Spybot is reporting this to Maul, which Maul decides that it's time to add more of the tensions as he decides to cut down the bank droid they also stole from Nico Darius. These two have a meeting. Let's see, Notavarius ends up trying to convince that it might be Maul, but Nico seems a bit skeptical. But then when the droid's head is shown, he thinks that Vario was the criminal. The gun, a blaster fight ensures between the two factions, with Vario killing Nico Demis. Eventually, Maul's men try to shoot in a sort of chase, try to get Vario, but the character Brandon Lawson, arrives just in time with love for police to protect him. He tries to interrogate Vario, but Vario is too scared, tries to only giving him the information of the Shadow Collective, two boots, tries to get him to like call in the Empire, but that doesn't work. And then let's see, Vario ends up in the on the cell opposite to let's see, Jedi Padawan Denvin here. And then the episode you mostly have let's see, Maul and a bunch of Dathomir Zabrak brothers, if you will, Zabraks, if you will, from the Night Brothers clan, sort of let's see, move into the present, mowing down every guard that they can find. Though let's see, Brandon Lawson here gets knocked out by Maul rather than killing. Arguably, some would say for plot armor reasons, but I'll get more into that in my thoughts. And then he eventually catches up to Luto Vario and is about to kill him, but he offers him like information to the Pikes. And just as he's, let's see, Maul decides to spare him for now if the information proves correct. Ditzy Maul notices Devon Lario and she recognizes him as Maul, ending the first episode. So yeah, that was basically the first episode. So my overall thoughts, and but yeah, let's see, hold on, let me just make sure. Oh yeah, this is the character. First of all, I will admit I quite liked this first episode. I thought Maul was definitely the ruthless killer, as he always is, as he mows down police left and right. Granted, most of them are droids, arguably to probably try and put more of a PG rating, doing a sort of Samurai Jack thing of like having robots stand in so that they can do as many brutal kills as much as possible, as there are more police droids than actual human cops. But you do see the cops end up getting killed and all that stuff. So I do like that. And I do like how Maul is like, let's see, giving his reasons for like going after these petty crime bosses. They betrayed him when he needed them most. So he's dealing with them first. So it's like take out these lower ones first before going for more the big guns. And eventually, of course, Darth Sidious. We know it doesn't really succeed in the end, but I do like his planning of like start small and go big, as also well as he seems to decide to get now another apprentice, if you will. So, but yeah, so I do like that, and I do like how, let's see, Root Cast, if you will, is revealed to be still working for Maul. Granted, with only a few Mandalorians and no longer, let's see, with the red, let's see, Shadow Collective armor that they've all seemingly possessing. So we've got that, but so I do like that bit. So yeah, I do like and I do like how she's like asking more what the plan is and sort of questioning her, even though she's still loyal, at least asking what the plans are going on, in which I do like how she seems to like once again explain she helps carry them out. So but yeah. But arguably, the characters that we have as protagonists, if you will, is Brenda Lawson, who I think also was starring in the Darth Maul comic that's tying into this, which I've only partly read. But I remember seeing him, and I think Nico Demis as like the main characters, if you will. So yeah, it was like him being like the cop that's trying to do right and protect his town, but also trying to make sure that the Empire doesn't get involved. Granted, I will admit that the one criticism I probably have of this episode is perhaps Maul, who seems to mow down everyone else but spares him. My guess is that this might feel like a bit of a plot armor, unless Maul has got something planned for this character down the end. So I assume that might be the reason why he spared him. Other than that, I do like his let's see, droid pal two bots, who's like sort of by the book, trying to like let's see, work with the partner and all that stuff. Even though he wants to do the protocol of like following the Empire and getting them involved, if you will, following protocol, he's willing to let his partner try and do his own thing first before they try and get the Empire involved, if you will. Spybot here, the character who, let's see, I do like how he's like a sort of quirky, like, droid who has, it's a bit of got a nasty streak of ha, if you will, when it comes to like hacking and infiltrating and all that stuff and sabotaging. Granted, let's see, you don't quite understand him initially unless you got like subtitles on, but heck, it's always fun to like see this new droid, and I like how Darth Maul sort of pets him, so that's kind of like a like nice little touch there. Serving as a sort of like evil pet as well as a helpy tool man for the thing. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And we've got our two Jedi characters, Devon Aso, who, let's see, as a young Padawan is doing now has to survive in the case of the Empire. You can see how, well, apparently still seems like wants to follow the Jedi principles. Feels like has become a bit, due to the situation, she has become a bit more willing to bend certain things, such as stealing, which is against the Jedi code, but wants to survive. Let's see, granted, is seemingly willing to listen to her master for the time being. Granted, I do think this also is setting the seeds of like her eventually, let's see, possibly falling to the dark side under Maul. So yeah, we have to wait and see if Filoni is going to make this character Darth Talon. Granted, I do think that some are hoping for the full-on Talon design that you get from the comics, but given the characters, I think, young age at the moment, I don't think Dave, let's see, this show is going to go that far with it. Let's see, far with it. At the very least, you might get the tattoos at the very least, but maybe not like full-on look of the comics. So, but which I think is fine for this. But it's like the early stages of Darth Talon if this character does become Darth Talon, and I think they're setting it up quite well for her to be like Darth Maul's apprentice. Granted, she seems to be a bit, of course, wary of Maul because she seems to know who he is. But see by the end of this episode, so yeah, we've got that, and I do like that her Jedi Master is this character here, Iko Dio Dakia, who's very much the wise Jedi Master who follows the principles, not stealing, and tries to believe in the goodness of the galaxy, thinking those will help. Even though we see someone to eject, trying to help strangers, if you will, arguably trying to be the moral center for Devon's character, but arguably he might end up failing. Whether or not he survives more than one season, we'll have to wait and see. So there's that. Anyway, let's see. Other than that, we've got these other two characters, if you will. Hold on. This crime boss, Nico Demus, who apparently played a bit of a role in the first comic of like the tie-in, if you will, but it was your standard angry mob boss who seems to get easily fooled, if you will. Let's see. Granted, he does seem to have somewhat of a menacing thing. I do like, but he does seem to have like some calculations of being, let's see, making sure neutral territory, but is easily fooled and angered given the droid barked. But heck, in some ways, it was a bit surprising that he ended up being taken out. But I suppose, given the fact that he's easy to anger, I can see how it happened, if you will. So, heck, even Maul thought he would be the one to survive the war, but nevertheless, let's see, the other character, Luto Vario, ended up being like, let's see, end up being the one who wins. I like how he's like this one of those little aliens that I think you saw in the Phantom Menace, who it's exploded in the pod racing. I do like how he's got like this droid suit armor to make him look big and let's see, pull off a fight, but is he willing to eject it, if you will? Let's see if the situation calls for it, such as killing Nico Demus and also trying to escape Maul's goons. I do like the sort of fear that he installed, the fear he has for Maul and all that stuff. Not willing to talk about the Shadow Collective if the police can't protect him, as well as trying to spare his life to like get the Pikes, which arguably he's probably saved himself for the moment. Though whether or not he survives long term, who knows? Granted, this character might overstay his welcome if he's staying too long, but yeah. Let's see. Overall, the first episode, I'd give like a 9 out of 10. A very good start, if you will, showing us how ruthless Maul is, getting to know these characters, a few twists and turns with like which crime boss survives. But yeah, but nevertheless, pretty good. The only real nitpick is Darth Maul sparing the main character thing, like plot thing, but you can see where it goes. So yeah, before I begin the next episode, I'm just gonna be let's see, need to take a bit of a pause, but I will be back soon. But for now, just wait a few minutes, and I will be right back, and then I will go to the second episode. Hello, everyone. I'm back now. I'm sorry for the bit of the delay. I had to go somewhere quickly. So anyway, I've gone through like the first episodes, and now on to the second episode, if you will. So apologies for the delay. But yeah, basically the episode sort of hold on, let me just the episode begins with let's see, Maul's group, if you will. Let's see, fighting off the police, if you will. So bit of a shootout, if you will, with let's see, Devon is trying to escape, but Spybot, stuns while Brendan Lawson, recovered from the knockout quite quickly, along with two U-boots hijacking a civilian, I think, dump truck, if you will, goes in pursuit. Eventually, they encounter the Jedi Iko Dudaka, who uses the Force to stop one of the vehicles that Maul's group is, which wants Root Cast, if you will, is taking the lead, if you will. So but yeah, with let's see, Darth Maul eventually using civilians to take control of using the Force to cause debris or damage around, which results in, of course, the character Lawson. No, not this one. Let's see, Brenda Lawson to order the police to help the civilians, and Jedi Iko Dio could have temporarily stopped trying to save his Padawan to saves the civilians, which I do wonder will come back to affect him down the line, but we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Vario and Devon are taken to Maul's hideout, where he is locked in the cell until they can get information correct, while Maul tries to persuade Devon that he is her ally, but she is not buying it. Meanwhile, you get Devon Lawson dealing with his police chief about warning that if they don't deal with this soon, the governor will call the Empire in. Let's see, and also learning about the relationship between his son, Rhea Lawson, who we meet, who seems to have a bit of a strange relationship, as his dad's always busy spending time at work, and seemingly like his mother seems to have separated from his father, if you will, because he wants to go visit her, and she's not with them in the household, so it seems like there might be a split, as well as Lawson eventually going to the character in a soul to learn about the Shadow Collective, in which she says it's an alliance based on Black Sun, the Pike Syndicate, and of course Pike Syndicate, Pike Syndicate, Black Sun, and Crimson Dawn on Mandalore. Let's see, realizing that Demis and Vario seem to both have deals with Maul, but she's glad she has stayed out of it, and seems to express having dinner with Brenda Lawson, who seems to be let's see, has a thing for him or something like that, at the very least. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see more about if this relationship is more further explored or in the show or in the comics, I guess. And he gets a brief visit from Iko Dio, who's following behind, but nevertheless is it's not yet really revealing himself to the police just yet. Let's see. Maul, of course, we see trying to get her, Devon to convince allies, but revealing he knows she's a Jedi, but she's not. She knows about Maul and doesn't trust him, and still trying to find the Jedi principles as best she can. So yeah, Anyway, eventually, Vario's knowledge intel is useful to Maul, and Maul let's see, Maul sort of like goes in and kills like the pikes in the shipping thing, killing them down with like this information sort of like in store. And apparently their leader is called Marco Krieg or Krim, I think, but who seems to be leading the pikes now and who's betrayed Maul and whose Maul is aiming to kill right now. Let's see, intel's good, but he still keeps Vario locked in. Once again, let's see, with Maul trying to get Larson to be like, Devon to be his ally. She says like, what do I need to prove? And she says like, set me free. And he says like, you can do that yourself, but seemingly implying that he's not going to stop her freeing. And she uses the Force to escape. Let's see, sort of ending the episode, if you will. Anyway, now for my overall thoughts on this episode. I'll admit it's a bit. I'll admit the cop getting like recovered from like the injury that Maul gave him last episode seems to be a bit quick, so which made me to believe that Maul perhaps only temporarily knocked him out for like a purpose down the line. But I do like how Devon tries to escape, but of course the spy bot sort of like stuns her and all that stuff, and I do even like the chase. And I will admit you got an impressive force display from Iko Diodakia, if you will, showing his impressive thing. But I do like how he does the Jedi thing of prioritizing saving civilians. Let's see, granted, I do wonder if that's going to cost him with his Padawan Devon thing, but I think at the time she's going to understand, but it could lead seeds to conflict between the two there. But nevertheless, I like how it seems to like let him to counter Brian Larson. I'm curious to see how these two will let's see, relationship will bloom, as they are clearly two good guys trying to do the right thing. But as far as Brenda Lawson knows, the Jedi are now criminals, so I'm wondering how that will play into the factor, if you will, which I will admit, I do like how we got to explore different relationships with Lawson here, with like the police chief, seemingly what appears to be the police chief, his son, and like this informant he's got that seems to have a thing for him or something like that. He also has a sort of ritzy, quirky elevator droid, which I forgot to mention. So, but yeah, I do like how it's like emphasizing that if they don't deal with this soon, the governor will get the Empire involved of this planet, and you can see how he doesn't want that as it shuts down the planets, if you will. So, yeah. I think he seems to see the potential danger of the Empire compared to what most others would at this point. So, at the very least. But yeah, I do like that. I do like how we got like a sort of like idea of his son, who seems to be voiced by the same guy who played Luke Calrissian in the now Disney Plus Percy Jackson's show. So, I do like how it seems like to give the character more of a sympathetic, maybe standard estranged father-son kind of thing, as the father's too busy for work as a police officer. But I am curious to see how this relationship will sort of blossom down the line, and see what let's see what will happen to this character. Will he will he meet a tragic end for like to affect Lawson, or will Lawson, let's see, I'm happy to Lawson that will get this character more involved. I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I do like sort of dynamics between Maul and Devon, as he's slowly trying to get her to be the ally, but of course she's sort of like resisting knowing who Maul is, and of course still wanting to be like a Jedi. But Maul is, I do like putting the seeds of doubt that the galaxy is not as black and white as you think it is. And then even trying to like saying, you're not really my prisoner, you're free to leave whenever you want, trying to convince her that he's an ally. But I do like that she does use the Force to eventually escape. I am curious to see if the seeds have been already implanted into her, and when she take the bait. At the moment, she's more resistant. So yeah, there's that. I do like how Maul sort of like intimidates Vario with like the gold brick things. Now, granted, the characterly thing might get annoying fast for some people, but I think at the moment he's seemingly going to be spared and even freed if Maul gets to kill this Pike leader, but we'll have to wait and see because I don't see this character lasting more than a season, but I could be wrong. So, but yeah. Let's see. It was nice seeing Maul down a bunch of Pikes, though granted, let's see, cutting away from the more gruesome murderings, if you will. Though I have seen some people say nitpick that Disney might be Disney might be going a bit overdone with the hallway scenes with Maul. Hopefully there'll be a bit more variety still, but yeah. So let's see. Overall, I'd probably give this episode like an 8 out of 10. Maybe it should be like a 7, but I think it's a pretty good 8. It's not as good as like the first episode, and this is more like a build-up, getting to know more of the characters' relations, particularly with Brenda Lawson's character and the relationships he has as Maul, trying to slowly build a sort of master-student relationship with Devon, if you will. But yeah, whether or not it succeeds or not, we'll have to wait and see, as well as building up for eventual conflict with the Pikes, which I assume will be the enemy that will be dealt with in the next couple of episodes, and then we may get the Empire stuff involved now. But yeah, arguably, those are my thoughts on the episodes, and I thought they're pretty good. For those who are listening to this review, I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. But for now, and I'll just join you next time when I review them. No, hopefully not last minute as I did with these ones. But for now, I am Blue Star Saber signing off. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye for now.